Okay, we're gonna go ahead and call tonight's meeting to order. Ms. Laura, can you give it to a roll call, please?
Yes. Member Bonflet? Here. Member Ciociola?
Yeah.
Member Four?
Here.
Member Lamb?
Yes.
Member Pretty? I'm here. Member Quilty?
Here.
And President Tommy.
Here.
Thank you.
So today we'll be going over personnel listing, conference with labor negotiator, as well as public employee evaluation and closed session. Are there any public comments?
There are not.
Okay, thank you. We'll go ahead and recess to closed session. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and call back to open session. Can we stand for the pledge of allegiance, please? Salute. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any requests for agenda reorganization? No? There's nothing to report out of closed session. Student reports. Hello, Carmen.
Good evening, board and audience. I hope you guys are having a great day. The first thing I'm going to jump into is our financial report. Our freshman class has $12. Our sophomore class has $1,429. Our junior class has $1,901. And our senior class has $7,346. And then these past few weeks, a lot of classes, they've been working on getting their points. And when students participate in school activities and help serve our school, they're rewarded class points. And at the end of the year, the winning class gets a Kona Ice and a rally. So our freshmen have 847 points, our sophomores have 1,643 points, our juniors have 2,988 points, and our seniors have 3,400 points. Last week we had our class meetings. We went over things like senior sunset, and we started receiving donations for our senior raffles. A lot of teachers and staff, they've been giving stuff for our senior baskets, and we've just been really glad with all the donations we've been receiving. Last week we had our first Friday Easter egg hunt. The juniors did win by finding over 100 eggs. It was a very fun activity and received lots of engagement by our students and staff. The staff hid the eggs and our students really worked hard in finding them. This week we have our Spring Spirit Week at our school. Mondays wear florals and tie-dye, Tuesdays twin day, Wednesdays vacation day, Thursdays dress as your type, and Friday is teacher-student swap day. This year our prom is May 10th, and the theme is Masquerade at the 530 building in Marysville. And prom is going to be from 8 to 12, and our tickets, they went on sale last Tuesday in the student store for $40, and a lot of students have already purchased our tickets. And then our Senate, they're coming up with spirit days and activities for the week of prom, so everybody has like a really good, fun prom. And then food fair paperwork is now available, and clubs are turning in what food they want to put on the menu to earn money and fundraise for their clubs. Our ASP applications are also now available, and they're due April 29, and you have like certain GPA requirements and things you need to do an ASP. On April 10th, we're having a Link Crew movie night, and students are welcome to bring their friends and family for a fun spring movie. We have an 8th grade visit coming up on April 22nd from 8:30 to 10:30 a.m. at AK School. And basically at these visits, we've been doing them at many different schools. We explain what ASB is and why students should join. It's like to the 8th graders on what our Yuba City High School does in ASB and how we serve our student body. And then we are trying to set up a day with River Bend for our next school. Our open house is on Thursday, April 24th this year, and we've been setting up for that, and we're excited to have it. The rally team is planning our end of the year rally, which is going to be summer carnival themed, and it's going to be outside, which is something new our school's been working on, so everybody is excited. Lastly, our students are working hard for the end of this progress report and are ready to go on spring break next week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice job.
Student recognition, winter athletic recognition.
Well, this is always a fun time of the year. We are here to recognize our winter student athletes, and so I'm going to invite here's Phil. Phil McCauley from our athletic director from River Valley High School to introduce our coaches. and then who will introduce their student athletes.
They said nobody can hear anything in the back if the microphone get turned up or something like that. But I don't really need a microphone, so I think everybody can hear me. Yeah. So, anyways, thank you, school board, and thank you, cabinet. It's always a great time to be here. Thank you for your continued support of not only RVHS athletics but YC athletics as well. We do really appreciate that. We'll just go in the order of the agenda. So we'll just go with boys basketball first, and Coach Lowe. Coach.
First off, thank you, Governing Board and Superintendent Azumi, for recognizing our student athletes here tonight. Right now, I'd like to have the River Valley boys basketball team please come up, along with my assistant coach, Paul, all of you. They're normally not this shy. So, as far as I know, River Valley High School opened in 2005, and there's been a lot of basketball teams come and go over the years. It was hard for me to believe that this year's team was the first team in the history of RV boys basketball to win the first playoff game. I'd like to thank my assistant coach, Paul, wherever he is, right here, and the administration of River Valley High School and the parents for entrusting their student athletes to me. These guys spend a lot of time in the weight room, the gym, the track to earn the opportunity to make the playoffs and go to a private school in Central Catholic of Modesto as a 12 seed and beat a 5 seed was a great accomplishment. I mean, private schools are always tough. But the even greater accomplishment of these guys right up here is we have 8 scholar athletes out of 12 players. That means they have to carry a 3.5 GPA and above. Our overall team GPA was 3.6. So I'm extremely proud of all these group of young men and what they accomplished on and off the court. Former Hall of Fame coach John Wooden of UCLA said, "What you are as a person is far more important than what you are as a basketball player." And these people, these guys up here are great people, and that's a tribute to their families that are out here in the audience. Thank you again for honoring these young men. They are going to be great people down the road. So they make RV very proud. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I need to try and get a picture of all of you.
Or maybe have them come this way because the families
Like around this
take
way.
pictures.
Is anyone? Hey, we can do this. Hey, 1, 2, 3, smile. Thank you. Congratulations.
We have one more player.
Okay. Smile. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, boys.
Thank you.
And then next, Coach Moore here. Yep. Yeah. It's all you.
All right. So, hello everyone. Nice to meet you all. I'm Coach Moore. I just finished up a season at River Valley. My first season as the head coach of the men's soccer team, and admittedly, I'm not that prepared. That was very impressive. next year after we win sectionals, I'll bring my whole team with me and we'll be a lot more prepared. But we had a great season. The season before I took over, prior to me coming, we had come dead last in the league. So the team I inherited was not extremely motivated. They had never really done much at River Valley, and so it was a little bit of a challenge. The thing I'm most proud of with them is not so much our on-the-field success. We were undefeated in preseason. We lost to one team all year long. Roseville's the only team that beat us. We beat everybody else we played, including we won a home playoff game and lost a very, very narrow nail-biter to Roseville in the second round of the playoffs that I'm still having a hard time getting over. It sounds funny, but my wife doesn't think it's funny. It's true. Thing I'm most proud of, though, I think, is that we became vulnerable. I think vulnerability is a precursor to success in anything that you do. And when I showed up the first day of the season, first day of practice, the kids were anything but vulnerable. They really didn't care. They didn't take it very seriously. And my job and the job of my staff was to help them care as much as we did. About being there, about going through the process, about winning, about doing our best. And throughout the season, they opened up and became vulnerable, and they really believed that we could do something special, and so did I. And of course, when you become vulnerable, losing hurts even more. And so I think, I know this is supposed to be, thank you for honoring us here today, but it really does hurt when you open yourself up and you get that close to your goal. And then it ends the way that it did. I know for some of my seniors, Diego, Benji, that was their last chance. Fortunately, I have a lot of young guys coming back, and we'll get another chance next year. And I feel strongly that we've created a real identity with our program. All of our assistant coaches, my JV coach, Javi, we're all on the same page. All the young freshmen coming in, they're going to know what we expect from them. And what River Valley soccer is. So I fully expect to be standing right here next year with the sectional title. I'm going to let you all know that right now, and I'll have my whole team with me then. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Congratulations, good job.
Thank you. And then wrestling, Coach Allman. Oh, there you go.
Hello, my name is Coach Alman. I'm the second longest tenured member of the RBHS wrestling staff. Should I get my RBHS wrestlers to go up here? In my last decade of coaching at RBHS, we've had some ups and downs. More recently, we've had a lot of ups, and we've had the privilege of not exactly having a rebuild season. Even though we didn't have the season that we wanted, we had high expectations. There was talks in the new league, the Foothill Valley League that we moved into, of River Valley Wrestling being in the mix for a league title. We had some challenges along the way, and these young men and women in front of you rose to that challenge. We have some freshmen that got put in the varsity lineup, and anybody that's played sports knows being a freshman going against seniors, it's tough. And we gave so much respect to the kids that stepped up in that lineup. I'm so proud of the way these kids persevered. Some of the highlights from our team were several students qualified to postseason. Ethan Reno. Yep. And then qualifying postseason were where is it? Summers, Hayden Summers. Hayden did well. Then we had our all league members, our league finalists. We have Blake De La Fuente. De La Fuente. Isaac Skelly Garcia. And, Zoe Devon. Not only did these students make it to postseason, some of them pushed past beyond. So, little known fact, California is one of the only states in the country that has one true state champion. So the state tournament is one division, and the best 40 kids for each weight class qualify to that state tournament. Each successive postseason tournament whittles it down to those final 40. We had students make it to several make it to divisions, and then we had several make it to masters. With one making a return trip, joining an exclusive club, I think of only 3 other wrestlers from RVHS to make it multiple times a state. Again, masters qualifiers. I'm super proud of these guys. With our young athletes, we're sad to lose our seniors, but I'm super proud of them. I am very excited for the future of RVHS wrestling. Thank you.
What's your name, sweetie? Zoe? Zoe. Maybe you could do that faster.
Guys, want to come on this side so that way you can show the picture?
Thank you. Congratulations, you guys. Now what do we do? Thank you. Come on, Coach. Okay. Smile. Thank you. Okay.
Dylan's got all your teams.
That's it. Thank you.
So, I'd also like to invite up to the podium Principal Esperanza, who will introduce her coaches when you walk through the city high school.
Good evening. These are the fun board meetings, right? And to do the celebration. So tonight I'm here to recognize our coaches and our student athletes. It feels really weird to have my back to the audience, so I'm going to do the sideways thing. So our first group that we're going to recognize is boys basketball. Is Coach Evans in the house? Is he out in the lobby maybe?
Coach Evans.
Okay, do you want me to just call it the athletes then, student athletes? Is Abimanyu Mehta here? So, obviously I can't speak to the board and the cabinet as what an awesome athlete here, because I'm not a coach, I'm just a principal, but I can speak to the character of our athletes, and that not only are they students, but they're also athletes. And you know, the standard that we hold our students to is being genuine, organized leaders who are dedicated. We love to see that not only out on the court, but we also see that on our campus. So I have here some notes from Coach Evans that Abby was the All-League and FEL Scholar athlete for the team. Is that right? Okay, awesome. And then is Alex the major here?
No.
He's not here? Okay, well, I'm going to tell you about Alex. Alex was named to the FEL Scholar Athlete, completed a 3-year varsity career in which he scored 803 points. His career free throw percentage was 88%. Wow.
Can I get a picture of the two of you?
Sure. Which direction do you want, as Laura?
That's just for,
Okay, sit that way, Dave. We gotta get a good background.
Hold on 1 second here. Okay. Thank you very much, congratulations.
Billy Burns. He'll be out in the lobby.
Yeah, it's right there.
Okay, I'd like to introduce our girls basketball coach, Willie Burns.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for having me here. At this time, I'd like to bring up our first team All League FBL Player of the Year, Miss Jules Vasquez. I like to say that inheriting a new program is not easy. It is easy when you have someone to rely on. A senior who's been through there, who's played for us for 4 years now, who's thick and thin, who knows, who's grown with the system, who knows basketball, and is able to help lead our team. Jules, again, top 10 in pretty much every field for us this year. Top 10 in points, top 10 in field goals made, top 10 in 3 points made, and then number 10 in scoring for the whole league for a girls basketball team. Not only that, but she is a scholar athlete. All right, so we take very much pride in that, knowing that she has all the tools to go on to succeed, to do stuff that only she dreams is possible. And I know that this young lady would do it because she has the courage, she has the power, she has conviction. I'm really, really proud of her. I'd like to say thank you very much.
Take a picture of two of you. Congratulations.
Is Coach Eric Salee here? For boys soccer. Okay. Is Victor Soto and Angel Torres are here? Assuming they're not in the lobby. Okay, so for boys soccer, we wanted to recognize Victor Soto and Angel Torres for first team all league. Next, I'd like to introduce Coach Jerry, as he's known, he's a girls soccer coach.
I thought sitting in the corner of the front I could hide a little bit, but apparently that didn't work. So this is my 7th season at YC, so I've been very proud to be the coach there for all these seasons. And I can tell you the team we had this year was especially special. They played probably together better than any team that we've seen despite our record. They moved the ball better than anybody. They were together as a team and followed all those tenets that are really important as athletes and everything that really makes up what a team really stands for. So that was really important to us. And the players that we wanted to recognize were players that really embody that. We use a term a lot of times called tough commitment team. You're tough both mentally and physically. You're committed to yourself, your family, your team, your school. Tough commitment. What did I miss? And team. So you're a team first player that puts the team first. And so those are very important standards to have as you go through your life. And those are things that we push throughout our season and throughout their careers. So ladies, if you're here, you should come on up, Taylor. Yulisa, you're here. There we go. And Angela. Great. So these 3 ladies all exhibit that to the highest degree you could ever ask. There are outstanding ladies that are great in school, they're great at home, and they're also great on the pitch. All 3 of them played with injuries throughout the entire season, and that would be the only reason that they weren't on the field. So if you look at their minutes, it's pretty much every minute of every game on the field. So that's a really hard thing to do in a 25-game season, and to keep that commitment. They also kept their commitment all through the entire summer and all through the year through. As everyone knows, that winter sports are really hard for families because there's Thanksgiving in there, there's Christmas, New Year's, and so these 3 ladies stayed extremely committed during that time, and a time that's very difficult. So our first All-League recipient is Taylor O'Leary. Taylor's a senior this year, and sadly she's graduating. We would like to keep her around longer, but obviously we can't do that. Taylor was on our program for 4 years, and she's a 2-year captain on varsity. And she's one of those people you just can't replace because of her personality, the way she's there for the team, how she works. She was a really big force in midfield there, and she played with a knee injury. She was released by her doctor. Doctor said, your knee's messed up. You can play and let's do surgery at the end of the year, which is something I never really heard before. It sounds contrary to common knowledge, right? It just doesn't make sense, right? But she did all year, played like a champ no matter what was happening, and we're just extremely proud of her. So she has a very bright future ahead of her. She just keeps grabbing it, and we look forward to hearing what she does. Yulisa has been in our program now. This will be her 3rd year coming up here, but she's 2 years in our program and her 2nd year on, or 3rd year, right? So I can't keep track. I'm getting too old. Her 2nd year on varsity. She was brought up the following year for a tournament because we were missing a player. And in her first game, she scored a goal. So one of our favorite moments for her. Last year, we moved her to outside back on defense, and she just locked everyone down. It's impossible to get by her whatsoever. But she was also a dual threat. She could play pretty much anywhere, play up on the wing, and even play up forward. So to be that versatile is quite something. So she was also made a captain this year through her hard work and her attitude. She's kind of a no-nonsense person that just says things how it is, and I hope she never loses that. So I definitely enjoy that, and it's good to have those sort of people around. And we look forward to her next year. It's going to be her best yet. So Angela has been in our program for a couple years as well. It's her first year on varsity. And it sounds funny when I say it, people laugh, but I say she was one of our biggest surprises this year. So we were really worried about our center of our defense. And through her practice in the offseason, Angela came through, and well, she was one of the strongest players that we could have on our field. That's a really important position. If you know soccer at all, if your center of defense is falling apart, you're in big trouble throughout your entire season. And I tell you, when Angela was in there, I don't think anyone ever beat her. So it was really tough. She locked down some of the best players in the league and really frustrated them. If you ever watch a video on that, you'll see her get just visibly angry and frustrated through most of the game. But her style of play was outstanding. Her attitude was outstanding. She was hurt a number of times, even through games, sore ankles. She got sandwiched and beat up a whole lot. Seemed to spend a lot of time on the ground because players are getting frustrated. Never, ever retaliated, just kept playing hard. So just a great example of what it means to be a great sport. So we're really proud of her, and again, we're looking forward to her senior season coming up here again. So. Thank you for recognizing our players. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, girls. And I think you have a dad back here who want to take a picture, or are you a dad? Okay. Like, if you go right back over here, we can get a good picture.
You're going to have to face everybody. This is good.
They can see.
Smile.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So as you know, this is my first year as a high school principal, so it's been a learning curve for me to learn about all of our sports programs. And one of the things that I've just loved so much is seeing our coaching staff and how they've worked with our young people. Not only are they focused on, of course, the technical work of the sport, but they're also, as you can hear from our coaches, just focused on developing young people into adults. Thinking about the beyond, sports is a medium to grow people into adults. The leadership skills that happen, the teamwork, it's been quite marvelous to be a witness of that. Now, the last team that we're going to introduce tonight is our wrestling team, and I was told at the beginning of the season that it was going to be a special season, and it really was when you see the long list of athletes we're going to recognize tonight and the distinctions. But really, I'd like to thank our coaching staff for all of your time and dedication. I know it's a cliche sometimes to say that our teams are a family, but when you came out to the matches, you could really sense that in the wrestling community, it really was a family. The support of the families coming out the community there. It was really special to witness that. So I'd like to introduce our Coach Costa. Coach, thank you.
How's it going, everybody? Before I introduce all the kids and have them come up, I wanted to talk a little bit about how we did this year. So it was probably one of the best seasons the school's ever had for wrestling. We won league undefeated. We were the first team at the school to win a league title in the new league. So that was a big deal. We had 5 boys were league champions. We had 3 girls were league champions. First time we've been in a league that basically has kind of represented the girls in a league championship mode. We've never, the girls just go to regionals and that's it. This time we actually had a league championship tournament. Girls were recognized, so that was a big deal. And then we had 7 boys qualify for masters, and we had 4 girls qualify for masters. So again, the 11 qualifying for masters is the most we've ever had at the school. We're taking half the team to masters with the boys, which is, a lot of teams don't ever get that opportunity to do that. So we had a really good year. I wanted to talk a little bit about the kids that are on the team. We have 5 of these kids that we're going to recognize are freshmen. That's a big deal. Not a lot of freshmen do that well their first year. Not a lot of freshmen make it to masters. And then we had 1 junior that we're going to recognize who will be back next year. And then the rest of them were all seniors. Coming back from COVID was really hard. We had a really good year before COVID. We qualified 6 kids to state, the most we've ever qualified at one time. Then COVID happened. That year before COVID, I graduated half of my varsity team. Then COVID, the other half graduated during that COVID year. They never got a chance to wrestle. Coming back from COVID, we had, I think, 5 returning wrestlers. That's it, 5 returning wrestlers. I lost 3 of my 4 coaches. Coming back was really hard. I had a bunch of young kids, a bunch of freshmen. A lot of them had never really wrestled before, or maybe wrestled 1 year in middle school. They paid their dues their first 2 years. Hard. Having a team of 95% freshmen going and wrestling in varsity tournaments and varsity matches, 14, 15-year-olds wrestling 17, 18-year-olds is hard. Trying to keep them in the room and not let them quit is hard. Trying to tell them, you guys don't suck, you're just young. You're just young, stick with it. Just stick with it. And, I know a lot of them didn't believe me a lot of the times when I said they were going to be good. They were going to be good. I could see the talent. I could see the heart. But please just stick with it. I begged some of these kids. Some of them wanted to quit. I didn't let them. Some of them tried to quit a couple times. Some of them I thought were going to quit, and they stuck with it. Surprised me, proved me wrong. But it was really hard to try to keep these kids in the room after getting beat and beat and beat and beat, week after week. I would tell them, one day you guys are going to be the big dogs. You guys are going to be the ones that everybody's afraid of at one point. We started to see that a little bit last year. And then this year they just shot through the roof. That's my son crying, sorry. They really shined this year. And, I told them, just stick with it. It'll pay off. Trust the process. And it did. We had one of the best years we've ever had. So, you guys want to come up? You all know who you are. You guys want to hang out over there? So real quick, just freshmen, raise your hand. Freshmen, okay. Masters qualifiers are league champions. We have our 1 junior, DJ. He's going to be back. DJ, he placed at Masters. He didn't qualify high enough to make it to state. He lost the match in order to go. But he arguably had the toughest weight class in our section, period. He had the 1 in state, the 2 in state, the 3 in state. I think what the yeah, all in his bracket at our masters. All those guys are graduating. He'll make it next year. And then the rest of them were seniors. Some of the seniors aren't here that stuck it the last 4 years. Seniors, raise your hand. So these are the ones I've been, talking about, telling them just to stick with it. It's going to pay out, and it did. Couple highlights real quick. We had so DJ was a master's placer. We had Jalen here, who was a 2-time state qualifier. She was our very first ever regionals champion last year. She basically went out and reclaimed her title again, and then she became our very first ever female from Yuba City High School to win Sac-Joaquin section championship. That's a big deal. She made history to win the Sac-Joaquin section. It's a big deal. We're in a big arena. They only put 2 mats out there, one for the boys, one for the girls championships. She went out there and she won in the first round. Wow. Didn't just go out there and win. She didn't even make it out of the first round. She pinned her. She's our first. Not only is she our first girl to ever do it, but she's our first section champion since my graduating year, when my best friend Woody went out there and won it. So 21 years, I think. So, and then we also had Israel Trujillo was our boys state qualifier. Another really good accomplishment. He was arguably one of the best kids in the state this year. Only lost a couple of matches. Did great. Placed last year. Didn't place high enough at Masters. Made it this year. DJ, that's what you're going to do again. And then we had Roman and Izzy also got 100 career wins, which is a big accomplishment. And then Jalen just missed getting. She's within 10 matches of getting her 100 career wins. So great season, guys. So. I know.
Allison? Really? Miguel? Got it? Ahmed? Roman? Alexander? Divya? Jeffrey?
Just Carmen. He's in India.
Israel?
You're scooting, guys.
In the back, I'm tall.
Don't look at center. My tippy toes center. Come on,
1, 2, 3. Okay, I need to get one. Oh, that's okay.
Go on.
Smile. Thanks, guys and girls.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
I do want to acknowledge our coaches and our administrators and our parents who support our student athletes, but I think what is impressive is that many of our students are multi-sport athletes as well as maintaining grades and making them a scholar athlete. So I think kudos and compliments to our kids. So.
Amen. All right. Next is going to be staff recognition.
Thank you. Director Pope is here to introduce our employees.
Well, good evening, Board of Trustees, staff, audience members. That was wonderful. What a great use of time recognizing our students and our coaches and our school programs. That was that was awesome. And now we get to continue the awesomeness by recognizing some amazing staff in our school district. We're excited to recognize these staff. Through their excellence, they shape our culture. And we know by recognizing them, they'll be more productive and stay with us and continue our schools growing and improving, helping us achieve our mission statement as a district, which is preparing the foundation for each student to build tomorrow's world. So with that, tonight we have one school tonight recognizing three outstanding staff members. It's Principal Rocco Greco from Andros Carpera School will be presenting these awards. That's good.
Yeah. As a principal, one of our main jobs is to build culture and trust with our employees. And I told them tonight, getting an award, they were excited. I said, we'll be in and out of there. And they're looking at me like, you promised. So I won't be as long-winded as I normally am with these things, but I do want to do justice and give them the honors that they deserve. So I want you to picture for a minute. Everyone remember the show Cheers? You guys old enough for that one? Yeah. So you walk in, Norm, and everybody knows your name. So there's one place that everyone kind of gathers in the morning as the school day starts. And so my office, Kathy, and my secretary's office are kind of right next to it. And right in the middle, you've got Melinda Thomas. So Melinda, before I start, come on up. Yay. So anyone who's worked in a school knows there's, outside of her amazing work and outside of all of her amazing work and things that she does, there's some skills that you have to have. So she has every sub checking in, every teacher that comes up for the morning chuckles and kind of that culture building, getting ready for the day. So at any given time, there's 10 to 15 people standing around Melinda's desk. So sometimes she has to engage and build the culture and help with those things. And sometimes she has to be able to just flat-face tune us all out because she's got things to do. But Melinda's one of those rocks in the office, one of those people who's always calm, one of those people that you can count on to get things done. If we say it's got to happen, like you can guarantee it's going to happen. At the same time, like kids come, they love to see her, the families. She's been at AK for a long time, longer than me, we'll say. We won't say years. Yeah, too many years, according to her. But she really is a rock, and the community there loves her. The parents and families all love her when they come in. It's just one of those things that outside of the amazing work ethic and things that she gets done, she's just one of those faces that when you see her there in the morning, it's always a smile. Everyone's always grateful to see her. No one, and at schools, this is a rare statement when I say it, nobody is ever mad at Melinda, which I don't know how she does that one. I'm still working on that. But sometimes Melinda's mad at me. But she's just really the heart of AK. She's been there in the office for a long time. She kind of really holds things together for us. So tonight, we just wanted to let her know she's the original, and she's all that in a bag of chips. So, here's your bag of chips.
Yep. Chips.
Wait, you have to give a speech.
No.
It's okay. All right. Next up, we have another kind of long-standing institution at AK. So when I first got to AK, we started kind of restructuring some things. And this teacher I went to and said, hey, next year, would you be willing to kind of be the central core part of our AVID program? Like we needed to rebuild, we needed to be able to make it school-wide. And for that, we really needed kind of a hub for that program. So before I go any further, Sandra Dawson, come on up. Sandra begged that I just say her name and walk away. We all know that's not going to happen. So outside of that, and today we were at Sierra College, taking the AVID kids there to be able to see colleges. We're trying to make sure they don't just see 4 years, but they understand all the different options that are available to them. We had a very great trip. I have some friends who coach there, so we got to actually get into the sports facilities and get on the fields and do all of that. So the kids were just absolutely ecstatic about being there today. But that speaks to not just her AVID program, but her CASE program. So for those of you who don't know, CASE is kind of an exploratory, gives them a chance to see a bunch of different CTE programs. People come to visit her program all the time to see what she's doing with it. AVID really, I've seen it take off since it kind of centralized with Sandra as the hub. We've got our school-wide certifications now. She's done a great job working with the elementary teachers to be able to push it into their ideas for how we could move it into the budget to make sure it's happening in the classrooms. And she does it all with a smile on her face. She's there every day, one of those employees who's just there. You know, she's going to get her job done. She's going to be funny about it. She's usually one of the people gathered around Melinda's desk in the morning, but just kind of the heart of AK. So tonight we wanted to honor Sandra. She's a little spicier, so she gets the limo. Speaking of spicy. So our next employee is new to AK. So, sorry, I blame him. Last year, we're lucky at AK is we have a huge staff and we have lots of people who want to be involved. So we get lots of interns, lots of people who need to do hours, people who kind of come into the school and are there for a bit when they're launching their careers. So this person started as an intern with us last year, kind of came in and was doing her hours in the program, and immediately it was like, whoa, I don't need an extra counselor, but I want to keep her. So it just so worked out that we were able to hire her this year. So before I go any further, Miss Christy Carnes. She brought a wonderful cheering section with her. So I don't know how you can embody being a school counselor more than Miss Carnes. You talk about the lessons, the things we expect to be happening, but it's so much more than that. So she's our elementary school counselor, and the kids absolutely love her. And it's funny because it really has become, in large part, sorry, this is probably politically incorrect, like a circus of wrangling monkeys some days. And she is like the key monkey wrangler. She's got a great sense of humor. She even 3D printed out some little poo and emoji since we changed some diapers at school now for me because she thought that was hilarious. But she just does those things. But she does everything. Junior high dances, she's at the junior high dances, helping, being part of it. One of those people that understands the mileage you get out of being there for all kids, not just your elementary ones that you're focused on, but every kid at the school, every adult. I knew we were in for a treat when she showed up the first day and had a fanny pack. Because at first I wanted to be like, oh girl, we're going to make fun of that. But she loves it. And she's got treats for the kids, the things they need, just like the tricks of the trade to do the job. She's always out. When you watch her doing lessons, it's not just running through the lessons. There's puppets, there's voices, and you watch the kids in the classroom just mesmerized by it. The teachers just kind of mesmerized, like they're almost joining in the lessons. So to go out and watch it is just a real joy to be able to have her on campus. It doesn't matter what level of escalation we see a kid in. If Christy's not in the lesson, she's in the office and I can put that kid near her for a little bit, the kid's going to de-escalate. So as an employee, as a growing part of the school, she's wonderful to have. I know her kids must be very lucky to have her at home, husband as well. So they must be very calm as well because she's very calming for everybody that she's around. So tonight, we wanted to let her know she is all that in a bag of chips, and thank you for being part of the AK.
It's for Mary Poppins back.
Mary Poppins. We'll start the comedy show in a minute.
All right, so we also have our program recognition.
Yes, so I wanted to bring some faces to, I know I send emails about some of the great work that's going on in our district, and so I wanted to introduce these three ladies who took a vision that we started, I think back in 2018 when we started to have, and Dina had conversations with me about us being able to provide our own support and induction program to our teachers to really meet their needs. And so we got to work and we wrote the documents and sent it off to the Commission on Teacher Credentialing and got approved. And then we hired some very special people to make this program what it is today. And they support our new teachers, they support our interns, they support teachers on emergency credentials. And I'm going to also invite Tino too, because Tino, who's in charge of services, is very involved with these three special individuals who have really taken a program that we designed and that we had a vision for, but it made it even more than I ever thought it was going to be. So, Tina, I'm going to let you introduce these special ladies.
Yeah, like Superintendent Sumi said, our new teachers, some of them come with a variety of training, and we have coordinator and coaches who have empathy, they have grace, they have knowledge, pedagogy, and they really help out our new teachers. Not in addition to that, our district has a lot of intern teachers, and some of them come to us not having any classroom experience at all. And so just imagine that, jumping into an elementary classroom or a high school classroom without having been a classroom teacher, so that can be challenging. So they've been taking on that role as well, helping out their SIP and our PIPs and our interns. And then recently in March, we had our credentialing, our review from the induction program, and they had an actual unanimous recommendation for accreditation. And so they put in hours of work, and the committee unanimously said your guys' program is pretty much phenomenal. So can we invite you guys up here just for 1 second?
We're missing a person tonight.
So we wanted to thank you guys for all of your hard work and dedication. You guys did such a great job with accreditation. And teachers, our new teachers, totally appreciate your guys' work that you guys do. From Ed Services and from our cabinet, we really appreciate all the work you guys do. So thank you guys so much for what you guys do for our district. And congratulations on the accreditation.
Thank you. We appreciate all the support.
Introducing yourselves. Who are you?
Introduce yourself. Oh. I'm Michelle Shasta. I'm the induction coordinator for the district. So.
And I'm Amy Matson. I'm a full released mentor for the program.
And our missing person is Lori Smith. She wasn't able to be here tonight. She's also one of our full-time release mentors.
So if you have an opportunity, they are going to be celebrating our teacher candidates who are going to be finalizing their induction program. And there's an invitation on Monday, May 12th at Marcello's.
Actually, it's at the Old Sutter Theater.
Thank you.
On Plymouth Street, and Marcello's will be catering it.
Yeah,
so
it's
free dinner.
For food.
So it's a celebration of our teachers who are completing their program. But these, and Lori also, the three of them are the trio who make it happen in our district. And so I just wanted to recognize the work they've done. The fact that our program is fully accredited and it was unanimous speaks to the work they've done and taking something that was just a vision years ago and making it a top-notch induction program. So thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Reports and information. Williams quarterly report.
Quarterly, we have to report on Williams and Ellisway's meaningful complaints. This quarter, ending in March, they don't have any complaints.
Thank you. We do have a few comments from the public on items that are not on the agenda. So can you read the statement, please?
I will. The Brown Act, specifically Government Code Section 54954.2, provides that no action or discussion shall be taken on any item unless it is adequately described in a timely posted agenda. Accordingly, though the public may comment on matters within the board's jurisdiction, they do not appear on the agenda. The board cannot respond to such comments without running the risk of deliberating or initiating discussion on topics not properly before the board. Given the prohibitions set forth in the Brown Act and the risk associated with responding to public comments, the board does not respond to the community's questions or comments. The board will respect the rights of the public to express their viewpoints on matters within the board's jurisdiction. However, comments that are defamatory or that violate the privacy rights of any students or individuals may not be protected by law. The board shall not permit any disturbance or willful interruption of board meetings.
Thank you. Charlene De La Serna, I'm so sorry.
Good evening, teachers, parents, board members, and President Asumi. My name is Charlene De La Serna, and I am a 4th grade teacher at Terra Buena School. I may look familiar to you as I was speaking here last September when Terra Buena found out that we were going to do a K-1 combo, and I was either going to be displaced or I had to move to 7th grade. Fortunately, I was able to stay at 4th grade because, as many people know, Terra Buena is an amazing school and nobody wants to leave.
But unfortunately, we were told the other day, because of our low numbers, another teacher was going to be displaced. And of course, my fear was it was going to be me. And although it's not, I want to be here to speak about it because it's unfair and it's tragic to think that a teacher is going to be displaced and that our school is going to be disrupted again. And the reason that we are being told this is because of our low numbers. Well, we were told the other day that the district is not allowing inter-district transfers, that our school has been closed, even though we are low in our numbers. And we were told that this is happening to save seats for the housing for the children that will be coming. Well, the interesting thing is when I brought up this argument in September that our school is going to be growing, I was told that you can't save seats for children that aren't there. But now we're being told that we are saving seats for children that will eventually be coming. That doesn't seem fair and that doesn't seem legal because I personally know a mom who wants to get her daughters here, and when she called, she was denied, so that Terra Buena is closed. And what I'm here to say is I thought that legally you are allowed to go to whatever school that you want as long as there are openings. This is not how it should be. And then in the teacher shortage, when teachers are being told, well, you're going to move here, you're going to move here, and we have young teachers coming, why would they want to stay in a district that is moving teachers around like we're just numbers? That is not how you treat teachers. That's not how you treat a school. And that is definitely not what you tell families that want to come to a school for legitimate reasons when there are openings, because you're saying you're saving these seats for children that will eventually be here when we were told that's not something you can do. So I ask you, because there is plenty of time, to leave Terra Buena how it is, because those children are going to be coming, whether it's inter-district, that we don't move a teacher and we do not displace this teacher. Thank you.
Chelsea Thornton.
Good evening. I'm here tonight to also talk about Terra Buena School, where I work as a 7th and 8th grade English teacher. Terra Buena is a place I care deeply about, not only as a teacher, but as a parent of 2 of its students. I understand that the district has made the decision to pause transfers to our school in anticipation of new housing in our attendance area. I actually respect and appreciate the desire to plan ahead and make space for families that are moving in. But those families haven't moved in yet. And in the meantime, we're feeling the consequences. Because we're no longer allowed to accept transfers, our enrollment has dropped, and now we are losing a teacher for the 2nd time in less than a year. And the teachers at risk of being displaced, they're fresh and vibrant educators who bring passion, energy, and creativity to our students every day. They work tirelessly to connect with students and support their colleagues. They're the kind of teachers who shape the future of a school. And selfishly, maybe, I want that future to be Terra Buena's. Put simply, it's hard for us to accept that we are losing teachers even though families want to attend our school, even though we have the space to welcome them. I know these decisions are complex. I know there are many factors for you to examine, but I ask you to consider exploring ways to support Terra Buena by being more flexible with transfer policies while still preparing for future growth. I ask you to consider if we're willing to hold these spots for the students we think might be coming, perhaps we can invest in keeping the teachers who will be needed to educate them. Thank you.
Arjun Atwell.
Good afternoon. I'm Arjun Atwell. I'm a 7th grade teacher at Terra Buena. I'll save us that you guys heard that there are spots open and that we're closing the transfer. So I just wanted to say, I urge you guys to please come to Terra Buena and walk with me and see all the students that will come and show you the culture at Terra Buena. I have 3 students here, some that are a little emotional. I would love you guys to come tell them why we have to displace a teacher. I can't tell a kindergartner that tells me I love you every day that I can't teach you in 7th grade because of students that aren't there. So I urge you, before you make this decision, please walk with me at Terra Buena and just see the culture and see what we do for the students. I just ask you guys to give us just one school year to increase the numbers and give us a chance to get transfers. I teach karate as well. One of my students is actually here. I have parents asking me to get into Terra Buena, and I tell them it's out of my control. It was just brought to my attention that we weren't even allowing transfers. So I just want you guys to know I grew up going to Terra Buena. There's a few familiar names, and Terra Buena was my home. I want to be given the chance to give someone else a home and give my students a chance to succeed. Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna move on to the consent agenda. There are 2 members of the community that would like to speak on one of the items that are on the consent agenda. So can we read the other statement, Member Fruity? Yep. Thank you.
Items posted on the agenda. Under the Brown Act, the board shall entertain comments on any item appearing on the posted agenda. As the board discusses agenda items, audience participation is permitted. Generally, the president will ask board members for their remarks before recognizing requests to speak from the audience. At the president's discretion, agenda items may be considered in other than numerical order. The board will respect the rights of the public to express their viewpoints on matters within the board's jurisdiction. However, comments that are defamatory or that violate the privacy rights of any students or individuals may not be protected by law. The board shall not permit any disturbance or willful interruption of board meetings.
Okay, Amelia Thompson.
Does my timer start when I start talking? Awesome, thank you. Good evening, board members. My name is Amelia Thompson. I'm the head coach of the Yuba City High School Speech and Debate Team. I'm here tonight to request your approval for a student overnight field trip to the California High School Speech Association State Championship, an opportunity that represents not just one student's achievement, but the collective success of our team and school community. This is a great honor for all of us, and we are so proud to share it with you tonight. This year, my student, Charlie Eggleston Acosta, who has joined us today, a member of the class of 2026, has qualified for the California State Championship in Lincoln Douglas debate. This accomplishment reflects 3 years of consistent growth, dedication, and hard work. From the moment Charlie joined the team, he has steadily refined his skills, learning and evolving with each competition. Charlie's achievement highlights the power of individual dedication as well as the collective spirit that drives our program forward. Together, we are building a promising upward trend for our team, and your continued support has been a key part of this success. For those who have been following the Yuba City High School Speech and Debate Team for some time, you may remember that in the early 2000s, our school was a speech and debate powerhouse. Board support during that time was instrumental in helping students achieve at the highest levels, and we now have the opportunity to build on that legacy. This honor is as much yours as it is ours, and we are excited to share this success with you. With that said, I respectfully ask the board to approve our trip to the state championship and to reimburse the cost of this trip to me and anyone else who may need to spend their personal funds in advance. It is rather short notice. We're going to state next month. Your continued support will ensure that Charlie and our team can represent YCHS at the state championship next month, with the board standing behind us as we pursue these prestigious opportunities. Additionally, as a naturally gifted debater, Charlie has managed not only to qualify for state championships, but also for national championships, which will be held in Des Moines, Iowa. Just this past weekend, Charlie went undefeated at the national qualifier, finishing first in a field of the best debaters in the Central Valley. Thanks to his continued success, we will soon be returning to request approval for our travel to the NSDA National Championship, for which we are currently preparing the necessary paperwork. Thank you so much for your time, your continued support, and for sharing this honor with us. We are excited to move forward with your partnership and are proud to represent YCHS at these prestigious events on both a state and national level. Thank you.
Charlie Eggleston Acosta.
Hello, members of the board. I would personally just thank you all for being here and to be listening to me right now. I can't admit how much it is and how great of a feeling it is to be able to achieve being able to go to state in California as well as the national tournament. I remember when I first joined YCHS Speech and Debate. I wasn't very good and I often struggled. My first 2 years, my freshman and sophomore year, I consistently lost. And I kept losing, and I thought I would continue losing. And I thought there was no way that I'd be able to achieve such great things, such as being able to go undefeated at a tournament. But through my hard work and determination, through the support of my community, of all of the YCHS staff, my coach Emmy, my friends and family, I've been able to achieve this, and it truly warms my heart. I could never imagine being able to go to state, going undefeated in a tournament. It still blows my mind, and really being a part of debate and practicing in this craft, it has just expanded my field of view of the world. When I first entered high school, I wasn't really a public speaker. I struggled standing up in front of large groups of people and talking to them, let alone debating or standing on ideals that I believe in. But through debate, I have certainly improved in that. Going to my AP language class every day, I feel like it's so easy to write an essay because I constantly do that for debate. I constantly support my arguments, and debate has just completely opened my eyes to how to argue and effectively support your beliefs in the world. And I would just like to thank you so much, board, for your time and for your potential support in this endeavor. Debate is truly like the love of my life. I know I am like a teenager, and so saying that at this age is kind of extreme, but I sincerely do enjoy every aspect about it, and I would be overjoyed with your support to be able to go to state. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I don't know if you guys recall, last year I did shout out a student that almost made the state qualifiers. That student was Charlie. And I remember watching him, I went to go judge one of the tournaments, and I remember watching him spar beforehand, and I'm just so proud and amazed as to how far he got it. So Charlie, congratulations on going to states and nationals. Yeah, it truly is really, really hard. It's not easy, and seeing students keep it, stay in it for 4 years and seeing the debate team rise again, it's amazing.
Any comments on the consent agenda? If not, can I get a motion?
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
A motion by member Pretty, second by member Core. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Action items, approval of BP 2121. Oh, see, just kidding.
No, that's okay. So with that consent agenda, the overnight field trip for speech and debate was approved by the governing board. Just so you know.
Approval of BP 2121 superintendent's contract.
Thank you. So I bring back BP 2121 with clarification on the language that was confusing. It is on page 192 of 350. It is underlined. It is the final paragraph, so it condenses three of those, the 3 paragraphs that are in Ed Code into 1 paragraph.
Any questions or comments? Nope. Can I get a motion?
I move that we approve.
Second.
A motion by member Pretty, second by member Fawcett. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. B, first reading of board adoption BPAR 6185, Community Day School.
We're proposing first reading for BP 6185 and Avonlake 6185. We brought forth earlier in the fall, in October, the proposal for a CDS code for the Discovery School, which is a community day school for our expelled youth students, 6th to 8th grade. That's been approved through the state, and so moving forward, we need to propose a first reading for policy for the community day school. The community day school will be strictly for 6th to 8th grade students. So it's we're there to if you have any questions.
And we're gonna put it in that language, right? The 6, you'll retype it, add it in there.
Yeah, we would delineate it specifically for those 3 grade levels.
When do we propose like opening that?
August.
In August? Where would that be housed?
YCIA.
Okay. Any questions? No? Okay, so we'll go ahead and move on to C.
Thank you.
Employment contract for assistant superintendent of HR.
Thank you. I bring forward a contract, a 3-year contract for the Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources, recommending Jordan Alvarado for the position. The contract would begin May 1st of 2025 and commence through June 30th, 2021.
Any questions? No? Can I get a motion?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
A motion by member Lamb, second by member Quilty. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. I'm sorry. Any opposed? I jumped the gun a little bit, sorry. Okay, hearing none, motion carries.
Thank you. And with that, I thank you, and I would like to introduce Assistant Superintendent for Yuba City Unified, Jordan Alvarado.
All right. D, new course proposal for the 25-26 school year, 3D animation and modeling.
We have 2 course proposals for our CT pathways. Both of them are at Yuba City High School. Our first one is for advanced construction. This would be the capstone course. Our first course is beginning construction. And our second course would be advanced 3D animation modeling, which would follow suit with our first course, which is 3D animation. So both of these are capstone courses, and their effective start date would be 25-26 school year at Yuba City High School.
Very cool. Any questions or comments? No. Can I get a motion?
I move that we approve.
Second. A motion by member Pretty, second by member Lamb. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. E, declaration of need for the 25-26 school year.
Yeah, so this is an annual process. Is directors? No, that's all. Declaration of need, so anticipating that we may not be able to have all of our positions filled. And so in terms of emergency plan, so you'll see ELD, a resource specialist, and possibly a need for emergency TK positions.
Any questions?
Oh, I'm sorry, and on the back there's some additional. So again, anticipating that we may need to declare that there's a need for these positions.
Can I get a motion?
I make a motion to approve.
All second. Motion by member Lamb, second by member Pretty. Excuse me, member Dami, not member Pretty. It's okay. I'm off today. Sorry. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. F, collective bargaining agreement, tentative agreement between the district and YCTA.
Okay, so I'll address those. I'll speak to F and G. So F is the disclosure about the agreement. So on the cover page, it just kind of highlights the main points of the agreements for 24-25 and 25-26. I also just want to make a comment to YCTA leadership. I felt this was a very good round of collaboration, discussion. We made some real progress, and it takes a team to do that. So I appreciate your efforts, Dina, and the whole executive team for YCTA. So we're happy to be off to the races and not and moving into 25-26 with a contract in place. So I'll speak a little bit to G as well. And G is the actual agreement, is the tentative agreement. There's a lot of language in there, more detail as far as kind of the exact changes that we did in the agreement. And I'm sure you had a chance to take a look at that. So the disclosure is the superintendent and the CBO or business official declaring that we can afford the raise, and then the tentative agreement is all the details that gets it done. So. Any questions?
I have one question that hasn't been answered yet. It's probably the most important question.
Oh, we don't know yet.
What color is it going to be?
Dina and I are going to pick a very special color.
Just not bright orange.
No, not bright orange.
No, ours is golden.
Any questions? Other questions? Can I get a motion for the first one?
F.
F.
I move that we approve.
On the motion by member Pretty, second by member Core, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Are there any questions on G? Can I get a motion?
I move that we approve.
Second.
On a motion by member Pretty, second by member Bondslet, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. H, CDW G, surveillance security enhancement.
So this is, we've, continuing to increase our, improve our cameras and replace our cameras as needed, improve the coverage. This is, just part of that replacement, cycle. And so, we're asking for approval of, this to, replace, what do we have, 53 cameras and additional equipment and software to, support that.
Any questions?
I just have one. I know that a couple of the schools, I know Yuba City High School was one of them, but we're asking for additional cameras. Has that ever, is that part of this, or is that a whole separate issue?
So additional cameras, this is mostly replacements and enhanced capabilities. I don't know of those 53 cameras, I don't know.
It just seems like they were asking for, I think it was more than just Yuba City High School, but they were asking for some cameras that would cover some blind spots, and maybe if they were just moved around a little bit, I don't know.
I mean, technology works with all the principals to, make sure we're kind of have some equity across the school sites with our resources, and also make sure we're capturing the main points. I don't know the specifics that Yuba City High School.
All right, thank you.
I'll make a motion, we approve.
Second the motion.
On a motion by member Dami, second by member Quilty, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. I, facility agreements for Rising Star non-public school.
So this is the business side of it. Doreen could maybe speak more to the educational side of it, but we were kind of tasked in working with the Sutter County SELPA and also a non-public school, Rising Star, to see if there's a possibility of getting a non-public school here in the district and utilize one of our assets out of Central Gaither. So this is, I think, a great teamwork and collaboration between the organizations. There's two agreements in here. One is SELPA helping to financially to help us get Central Gaither up to, get the facilities in shape. It's been sitting for a little bit. And so we appreciate that, but there's an agreement for that. And then the lease agreement is with Rising Star. And it's just kind of, the details of having an agreement to lease that facility.
Any questions? Can I get a motion?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
On a motion by member Lamb, a second by member Bondslet, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. J, replacement of food service vans.
So this is part of our replacement cycle for vehicles. We have 3 of our older vehicles it's time to replace, and so that's what we're doing with this request. The student nutrition has a separate fund, and they actually need to spend down some of the funds that are sitting in there, and of course replacing assets that are outdated is a good use of those funds. So we're requesting $200,000 to replace the 3 service vans.
Just point of clarification, these have like the lifts and all that stuff that are.
They do. So they get kind of kitted out with the lifts and everything that's needed for the department.
Any other questions? Any other motion?
So moved.
I'll second. A motion by member Bondslet, a second by member Dami. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. 17, board reports, information and discussion.
I would like to report on the Yuba City Charter School. I attended their meeting on the first Monday of the month, and our next meeting, we are meeting a half an hour early because their culinary department is going to be serving us dinner.
Nice.
I'm excited. And then the other thing is that they were talking about adding the ethics studies. I guess that's
ethnic studies.
Yeah. Ethnic studies and that's gonna be required and how they're gonna fit that in, and I guess that's a question for all the school districts. And then, they came out with a calendar for next year, and they have invited me to come to their, let's see, August 5th and 6th, they're going to be doing, Capturing Kids' Hearts. That's their program that they do for, their kids. And they've invited me to come the August 5th and 6th, and they're serving breakfast and lunch. I like the food aspect of these meetings.
Right?
Yes. So anyway, and then they are having their FFA banquet. Their FFA program is incredible. And they're having that banquet on May 8th, and they've invited me to that as well. And so it's been good to be a part of that community. Yeah.
Okay. Written communications from the public?
There is one in front of you that was received from email regarding the attendance.
And then I don't think they asked for it to be read, right?
No, that's just a communication received.
Okay, and then comments from employee representatives?
Good evening, board members, staff, and anyone else left in the audience. It was a big crowd earlier. Guess it's not quite as exciting as we get to the end. I'm Dale Leakins, President of Yuba City Teachers Association. I've got a couple of items I'd like to address this evening. I appreciate Scott's recognition of the collaborative role we all played in reaching a tentative agreement in a timely fashion once we had all of the financial data that the district and YCT needed to reach that agreement. That new agreement covers our new contract from June 2024 to June 2027. And yes, it is likely the last contract cover that Doreen and I will get to pick out together. That orange was not the color that it was on the palette, so we'll try and be better this time. We reached agreement on a lot of areas, but acknowledge that we have ongoing work to do with regards to safety. Safety continues to be an area of greater concern in our current climate. So we'll continue to work together to address safety issues. We weren't able to get to the ever elusive class size limits because we all recognize that our students don't show up to our schools in a neat little package of 24 and 28 and to make us have class sizes we all like, and we know that it's a complex decision making with regards to class size. I'm going to come back to that idea in a little bit, but I'd also like to recognize the work of Rob Hogue this afternoon. Yuba City Unified employs roughly 35 teachers without preliminary credentials. Those 35 teachers have a variety of emergency credentials, PIPs, STIPs, and intern credentials. And there's a whole lot of hoops to jump through to keep them and a whole lot of rules of the game. And Rob Hogue today hosted a meeting for those teachers with emergency credentials. Rob invited Jamie Paul from Sutter County, invited the mentor folks, and had a meeting to help our teachers with emergency credentials trying to be proactive to secure their credentials, to understand the rules of the game, the fact that you can only get a PIP once, you can only get a STIP once, and to make sure you are credentialed so that you can continue to get paid and stay in the classroom. What perhaps is most remarkable about that is my final reflection on it at the end of our meeting was, Rob, you bring the human to human resources. And I think that is what we've all been looking for. So I appreciate that Rob was proactive in pulling together that meeting today. I'd also like to address the continued work of the district on the Discovery School and the new community day school provisions. This represents a lot of work to figure out how we're going to engage in some behavioral interventions that will help our students better understand the expectations of school and adjust to some social challenges in schools. We hope that this is just the beginning of our behavioral interventions at middle school, but also perhaps some intensive behavioral interventions for our other big transitional time for our students. Middle school is that time where kids are just trying to figure out a lot of things, but so is TKK in first grade as we try and get students to understand what it means to come into our schools. So both areas are areas of need for some intensive behavioral interventions, and we like to look forward to continuing that work. I'd also like to call your attention to pending legislation, AB 560. While not yet, legislation is in the works to consider caseload limits for RSP, SLPs, and special day classes. Again, we all have an interest in what's the appropriate class size, what's the appropriate load limit so that we can best serve our students. And I'd like to close with those class size issues are always challenging. I appreciate the complexity of the decision making as the district has to consider staffing in order to provide services to our students and balance our budget. The decision of Terra Buena is unfortunate in that it impacted them in the fall and impacted them again in the spring. When Charlene said, I may look familiar, that's true. It's unfortunate that it's happened twice. What I would like the district to consider is intra-district transfers and leaving all options open. So right now on the intra-district transfer, it's actually inter-district transfer form, you get to select the possible school you want to go to. In that selection is listed most of our schools. Barry, Butte Vista, and TB are not listed. Not totally sure why not listed. I do understand the reasoning of we expect that Terra Buena will likely grow with the new housing developments. BV is probably pretty close to their capacity. I know that all their classrooms are occupied. They can't find a classroom to use it. I know Terra Buena has actual physical space, but if the case is overcrowded campuses, AK is kind of bursting at the seam, but AK is on the list that you could possibly do an intra-district to AK, but you can't to TB where they actually have classroom space. So I guess I would just urge us to consider leaving all options open for parents so we at least have an idea of what are their interests. Are parents looking to move their children? Are we doing as much as we can to make the options available? By leaving the options available, you are not securing a position. You're not making a final decision. The decision still rests with the district. In the decision at cutting at TB, I understand the issues at 5th grade. There's 65 students. And, when you split them up, it looks like, okay, 31 and 32 in classes, but those are larger than are most effective for our students. So I'm urging you to just look at some of the options in our intra-district transfers. And I definitely think the form should be revised because it currently reads, I can request an intra-district transfer to Central Gaither. So, oops. On that, I appreciate your time this evening and thank you.
Thanks for giving me a little chuckle at the end there. Oh wait, you can't believe I'm gonna talk. I never get to talk to audience. I'm just kidding. My name's Mercedes Geraldo, and I represent our classified employees here. And recognize the board, our audience that I just kind of shamed. I apologize. I really didn't mean to do that. Take a minute to recognize Melinda Thomas, who is a hub at AK, right? She's been there for I don't even know how long, and an integral part of that staff there. Last week, April 2nd, was Paraprofessional Day. Normally, we're on spring break, so we don't get recognized, but we were in school, and we I don't think anybody, I didn't hear of any paraprofessional that got recognized on Paraprofessional Day, which is pretty sad because almost a third of our classified staff is a paraprofessional. We have paraprofessionals in our after-school program as ELOP paras. We have them in classrooms, our TK paras. We have our special education paras. We have our ELD paras. And we just have some general paras out there that are doing that work. And they're working really hard. And they're in those classrooms with little support and little training, but making it happen. So we really need to do better at recognizing the people that make the district run. Every single person in our district has value and has importance, and we need to recognize that. Moving on, our reclass committee met for our spring reclass last week, and we viewed 5 different applications for reclass and made some decisions on those. And on Monday, our negotiation team met again with the district, and we are really pushing to get through our negotiations by the end of this fiscal year to complete our 3-year contract. We kind of tried to look at maybe we could just do 2 years and come back for the 3rd, but it looks like we're going to try to just knock it out and get it done, get all 3 years and take a break for a minute. We also have been very collaborative. It's been a really nice negotiation sessions where we actually just talk things out rather than, yes, we do caucus and yes, we do go back and forth. But having that collaboration to get to where we need to be has been invaluable to the process. So I do appreciate that. Let's see what I'm on here. Next week we have spring break, which for classified employees, some of them means they have a week off, but some of our paraprofessionals will be working the intersession. Others are 12-month employees, so they'll be here. Some of our 217 employees are on their blackout week, so they won't be here. So you'll see some classified professionals on campuses and in offices and other places not. But this is an opportunity for those departments to get some extra work done without, all of us other people interfering in their work. So I'm sure that they're looking forward to some of their projects, but projects where they can really get down and dirty and get them done. Another thing I just want to recognize is that our coaches, many of them are classified. We heard from 2 of them here tonight, Coach Costas and Coach Burns, both classified employees in the district, as well as many of our other coaches. Talking about safety in our schools, again, I just want to encourage that we encourage our staff, our admin teams to make sure that they're including classified staff when we're talking about Catapult, when we're talking about things that is important to all of our safety. When classified employees are left out, then that could become dangerous if there's a situation in the schools and we don't know how to respond. So I do encourage that we make sure that we are including classified in those discussions. And kudos to getting this Discovery School going and on campus. I think probably the only one here that might know this story is that I started out as a one-on-one para driving a student down to a non-public school down in Carmichael for almost a whole entire year. And that was quite an eye-opener. It was trial by fire for special education. Didn't know a whole lot about special education, but those drives are difficult. Right now we're putting kids on buses to go down to Sacramento. I think we have like 2 or 3 different stops that they go to. They're on those buses for just, at least an hour. Then they're in school and then they have that whole hour home. For kids that are at risk and having struggles with their behaviors, that's not an ideal situation. So having them here locally is really going to benefit those students. And I appreciate that. I'm sure that's a collaborative effort to make that happen. And I think it's very, very important. So on that, have a wonderful spring break. I'll see you next time.
Thank you. Comments from board members?
I just wanted to say, I just had a question with regards to the Tierra Buena. So I had understood previously the process was for intra-district transfers. Obviously, the precedent was for those who were who are part of the zone, right? But those who request intra-district transfers were told, or are told, the process is they are told, it's contingent, or their acceptance is contingent, and it's not 100% if there are students that come into the school that fall because they're zoned for it, you get bumped. Am I wrong?
So correct. So if in fact any school there is the enrollment is too large, then the board policy allows us to revoke transfers. Yes. Was that your question?
And so that's the current process. So then that would and that hasn't changed for Tierra Buena.
No, but also by board policy, annually we look at the sites where there has been an impacted enrollment, and so we let the community know what schools are open for transfers and which are not, and so that's been something we've done routinely in terms of annually, and that's allowed by policy. But again, historically, Tierra Buena has been a school which was impacted, and we were having to send neighborhood students who were to attend Tierra Buena to go to Butte Vista and April Lane, and so we were having to bus them. And so we look at that annually in terms of every school and their enrollment, and then make decisions about whether or not we can accept transfers or not.
So then are there students that were going to Butte Vista or April Lane because Tierra Buena was full? Are they now released to go to Tierra Buena?
They have to Tierra Buena. So we had to do that at April Lane this year, where April Lane was full, and so students were transported over to King Avenue. Parents now have an option to go back to April Lane.
So if you don't mind me jumping in here.
Sure.
If Tierra Buena currently has room, I mean, the argument that AK is bursting at the seams, and I've visited both AK and Tierra Buena, and AK is very full, but it's open, and Tierra Buena has room, but it's closed.
Well,
and I know that there's a housing development going.
More than one.
Yeah, but the houses aren't selling that quickly, and people haven't moved in yet. So I just feel like perhaps we're a little premature on displacing
that is, so the other thing is those staffing projections are done for every school. And so there are schools throughout the district that are having to displace teachers. There are actual displacements. Some of them are done through attrition, through retirements and resignations.
Right.
And so it's not just one school, Tierra Buena. So there are other schools that have gone through displacement conversations, I believe River Bend, Yuba City High School, because of just the current enrollment and then also staffing projections for the next school year. So the notion is that if the enrollment is projected to be this and not this, then we're staffing appropriately at every site based upon the current enrollment and the projections for the next school year.
I guess I don't understand either that so you displaced a teacher in the fall, but then you were anticipating the enrollment to be impacted, right?
Well,
and now you're displacing another teacher.
Well, we displaced a teacher based upon enrollment. At any site when we make a displacement, it's due to the fact that the enrollment did not come in as projected. So there's a displacement, and then again we look for next school year based upon our projections, and are the class sizes going to be in alignment with the rest of the district, and if not, there's displacement. So Tierra Buena is not the only school that's going through a displacement. So based upon our projected enrollments at several of our schools, there are displacements occurring, or reduction in staff based upon attrition because staff have decided. So for example, Lincoln is losing an FTE, but it's being absorbed because one of the teachers is retiring. So this isn't just a Tierra Buena.
No, I understand that, but then why can't you open up the inter-district transfers then? Why is it still closed?
Well, I think that's been, if I can, so for inter-district transfers, from what I remember, they close in January. That's just how it's always been. So that way they can account for is it January, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So again, based upon so there's this historic analysis that Scott goes through in terms of analyzing enrollment and enrollment projections. And so based upon that information, principals are meeting with us and talking about their staffing and their projections. And so yes, could we just open transfers across the district? But because of the fact that if you take a bunch of students from this one school, then you're gonna have another issue at the other school. So let's just say, I'm gonna use Lindcrest. If we allowed all the transfers out of Lindcrest, now you have an issue at Lindcrest because the class sizes drop. So it's one of those things that it's, I think it's an analysis that's not just done by school in isolation. We look at history, we look at projections, we look at development, and so the whole process is just not one school in isolation. So again, there's many schools right now that are going through displacements. There's a school, I think there's 2 that we're adding, a couple of staff members, because their projected enrollment is larger than anticipated. So it's, how to explain it, I'm not doing a very good job at the bigger picture. I think it's a bigger picture, and that's what I just want to assure everyone. It's
And is
not
that,
just,
that's for next school year?
Yes. I think,
Which can all change.
I think in the past, well, I know in the past we've gotten numbers by classes and whatnot, at least I know we got that last year. So like, as opposed to maybe expanding this conversation that's not agendized, maybe we can direct the superintendent to get us those numbers, and that way we can see what's happening within the district as far as like what numbers they're seeing today that led to the decisions that they're making, and see if that changes by the end of the school year. Would that be appropriate?
well, we're happy to share the staffing projections that we use to discuss staffing with each site. So I think it's, again, I want to assure the board this is not one school that's being picked on.
Right.
There's a bigger picture that we look at when we're staffing and doing the projections.
I don't think anybody thinks that one school's being picked on, but the thing that concerns me is the point that was brought up that, like I said, AK is completely full and bursting at the seams, but it's open to transfers. Terrebonne is closed to transfers.
But understand.
And CG is open to
Yeah, and
transfers.
I don't know how that happened, and we'll have to look into how that happened, but the issue is it can be open for transfers but not approved. So right now, there are no transfers being approved to AK. So how that happened, Shelley, I don't know, but we'll have to look into it. But again, we've been trying to limit transfers also, just because of trying to keep the schools in the projected enrollments.
Yeah, you don't want dominoes going off. I understand that. I do understand that.
And according to Jasmine, all transfers are closed since January, right?
That's historical, like
Right.
they
Yeah.
just
We have a
every
window.
year they
Right.
close,
The windows.
they're
You don't
open
move
for-
kids in the middle of the school year. They
Right.
do it for.
Well, no, but even January, the people that submit an application for an inter-district transfer have to do it before January for the fall.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
Right, and when we can, transfers are approved. So the 2 high schools had transfers. They were pretty much evenly distributed, where 100 kids wanted to go to River Valley and 100 kids wanted to go to YC. Those were approved and allowed to have them transfer. So again, there's a process, and it takes a lot of time and energy. And Scott's projections, along with input from the principals. So I understand, and I'm happy to share those numbers with you in the Friday.
Awesome. Any other comments? No?
It's finally spring.
It has sprung.
Starting to get warm.
Hey, if anybody has a bee swarm, call me.
Okay.
We're looking. Okay. I need to fill up a couple hives.
Okay. Comments from superintendent?
Yes, I just would like to, and I hope that you got the information. We have an all-district band performance tomorrow night at 7 o'clock at Yuba City High School. It's always fun to see our kids come together from both the middle schools and the high school. You will be getting the open house schedule for the schools that are going to be happening this spring, and I believe it'll be in the Friday. And then also, it's time to sign up for promotions and graduations. So, oh, you did? There you go. Okay, so if you have not signed up, you will be contacted to sign up. So it will be here before we know it.
Awesome, thank you. All right, next board meeting is April 22nd at 7 p.m. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
On a motion by member Pretty, second by member Lamb, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.